Hello, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to the next edition of Leading in Crisis. As we all know, we've been organizing this Leading in Crisis session for the last couple of weeks and really bringing top experts in the industry and speakers to give us certain insights into what is happening during MCO, helping us along the way. I hope you guys have been getting some good information so far. So I'm going to bring up our guest today in a little while. And just to set some rules here, well, they're not really rules, but if you guys have any questions along the way, I know some of you guys posted some questions earlier, and I'll make sure that I get those answered. I'll ask them later. But if you guys have any questions, just type it in the comments window, and along the way, myself and Fong will look at it and we'll help to answer it. Okay, right? Okay, so today's Leading in Crisis session is about a topic that I think is in the back of a lot of our different minds, right? Really, with all the fundings that's available, Bank Negara announcing the fundings, the government announcing some the moratorium and whatever that is with regards to cash and what's available to us. I think until today, even 4 weeks after the first initial announcement, I myself am a little bit uncertain, and I'm getting also a lot of questions from the community of what is possible, what to do, why are my stuff not approved yet, and things like that. So I wanted to bring a good friend of mine today to really just talk about his personal experience into getting this sort of stuff of this funding stuff and how he has helped other people as well. Right? So I'm gonna bring on Fong now. Hey, Fong.
Hey, man.
Hey, okay. So everybody, today we're going to be talking to Fong. And Fong is actually from Fu Lian and Associates. He's very experienced. He's been in a chartered accountant, and he's been in the industry for the last 12 years, right? So his firm specializes in audit and tax. So if any one of you guys have any questions with regards to audit and tax, I'm very sure Fong has no problems in answering those type of questions as well, right? I think he has a quite comprehensive presentation. I'm quite impressed, Fong, that you came so prepared for us. So thank you so much for coming to this session to do this for us.
Okay.
So yeah, Fong, you want to maybe just introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. I'm Fong. I'm partner of Fu Lian Associates, in short called FLA. We are a 50-year-old firm. We provide integrated services to only SMEs, catering straight out when they start up all the way to the end. So we major in audit and tax as well as corporate secretarial services. So I've been in this industry about 12 years. So I'm happy to help out as soon as Raymond called me up to share my experience.
Yeah, thanks, man, Fong. And it's not because we've had too many drinks, right? Yeah.
After this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Fong, today I guess we'll just do a casual question and answer style. The guys may have a lot of questions that will come up in the comments window. And do everyone that's listening into this live stream, do ask your questions in the comment section. Remember, anything with regards to what kind of understanding do you need with regards to the financial help that's available? If you want to know anything with regards to audit and taxation, even during this time, and anything that possibly Fong has not covered in his presentation, just go ahead and ask. Right. So I have a list of questions, Fong, but first of all, let me pass it to you. I know you have a presentation that is you have done up for us, and over to you.
Okay. So today I'll be presenting on understanding financial help. I know we have gone through quite a downturn in terms of business owners, entrepreneurs. You're probably facing a lot of distress calls, trying to find out what are the financing options out there, how you can keep cash conserved as much as possible as we ride through this downturn. So the three main topics I'm going to share today. One is financing options that's catered towards SME. The government stimulus package, this is a pre-Hatin package that's I've also catered specifically for SMEs, and also the extension of statutory deadlines that has been announced recently. Okay, let's start with financing options. So during this downturn, I guess when it rains, it pours. So the good thing that we can take comfort that everyone is in this together. So let's help each other to ride through this wave. So cash conservation is important. Why? There are four main questions that we probably want to address today. Which bank loans to apply? Which loans are cheaper? What are my options? Should we opt for the moratorium, the 6 months automatic moratorium? What are the pros and cons? What documentation to maximize my chance of approval? And lastly, should you borrow even though if you don't need it? Is this considered opportunity in times of distress? So let's dive straight in. Okay, before we start, there are a lot of misconceptions of what SME is defined. So I'm going to probably just start with definition from SME Corp. There's two categories. Manufacturing sector, your sales must not exceed 50 million or employees not exceeding 200. For services and other sectors, which are not manufacturing, your sales cannot be more than 20 million and you cannot have more than 75 staff. So this will be helpful in terms of loan application. The first one, which is the cheapest loan so far that we've seen, these are the micro credit facility offered by Bank Negara Initiative, mainly applied through Bank Simpanan Nasional, BSN. So the government has allocated in total 1.2 billion towards this facility, but it's only catered towards micro credit enterprise. What do you mean by micro credit enterprise? It must be a company which has less than 300,000 revenue or less than 5 employees. A lot of the smaller SMEs will fall into this category. You must be in operation for more than 6 months. And the maximum financing amount is 75,000. But the best thing about this loan is 0%. It's cheap money. Not cheap, it's technically free money. So tenure of it is 5.5 years. If you've probably seen around the pamphlets. Why 5.5? It's because the first 6 months, there's no repayment required. It's a moratorium. Hence, in total, is 66 months, including of the first 6 free months. So the purpose of this microcredit loan is for CAPEX, or capital expenditures. You can buy property, plant, and equipment, or working capital. How do we apply for this? You apply directly to Bank Simpanan Nasional, but you have to go through their authorized agents. Closing is 31st December 2020, but as far as I understand, this funds is quickly being used up, so please do apply early. We don't have any official numbers of how much is used now, but as far as I know, the numbers are jumping up pretty quickly.
And sorry, I'm going to stop you there for a while, Nifong.
Sure.
So when we are applying for this, right, for those of us who are qualified for this, so we just go directly to BSN. What are documentations you feel to speed up the process?
There's a list of mandatory requirements. For BSN, this loan is pretty simple. They do not have any additional hidden documentation. Mainly the basic M&As, the director's ICs and all that, which I will share a bit later.
Okay. And no collateral or anything needed, right, for this?
Yes, no collateral at all.
Okay.
So next we move on. The second most popular loan now is Special Relief Facility. Bank Negara has allocated 5 billion as of today. So only SMEs are allowed to apply for SRF. Financing amount is maximum to 1 million in aggregate, which means you can go to different banks. You might get 300 here, 500K there, but in total, you cannot exceed 1 million. The end approval will still go back to Credit Guarantee Corporation, CGC, for approval. Interest is 3.5%, but I understand that some banks exercise their discretion, 3% to 3.5%, some 3.25%. A tenure 5.5 years. Why 5.5? Also because of the 6 months moratorium at the start. Therefore, you don't need to pay anything at the first 6 months. However, this purpose is only for working capital. Therefore, you cannot buy plant equipment, CAPEX, you cannot buy stocks, you cannot do investments, and any tobacco, alcohol, gaming companies, you cannot apply for this loan. Closing is 31st December 2020, But I'm going to just make a remark here. As of last week, April 12th, in one of the STAR report, 1.46 billion has been utilized out of 5 billion approved. Today is April 21st, so I'm probably guessing it's about 2.5 billion upwards. So please do apply early before the funds get exhausted.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question here, and this question actually came from one of the our members here, right?
Sure.
So I guess the main question that which you already answered is how much funds is there left, right? Because I think everyone's worried. But what is so I think we're seeing that there's different people are facing different process timelines.
Right.
The government, or rather the Bank Negara, is saying that, oh, it's going to be very fast. It takes just 1 day to process. Is that reality? Do you see?
No, based on what all of our clients are facing, it really depends on a mix of factors. One is your completeness of your documentation, whether your management accounts are up to date, are your books in order. Number two is actually your relationship with the bankers as well. If you have a really good relationship with them and you have been with them throughout, they probably know your financials in and out. Therefore, some of these companies with good relationship with the bankers, they get their approvals within 1 or 2 days. But that's not the norm. The norm that I've seen is almost 1 week to 2 weeks for approval.
Wow, 1 to 2 weeks. Huh? So I guess relationship is very important. So go back to your own bank. And if you don't have your own bank, just ask a friend who knows a bank or a banker, and then just get the relationships through there. That's the reality, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So you can apply this via all the different commercial banks in Malaysia, or you can go to the imsme.com portal. But I do recommend you go to the your personal bankers first.
Okay. And what about track records? I know one of the criteria you mentioned here is sorry, you didn't mention here, but is there like a minimum number of years, like in the BSN one, is minimum 6 months you have to be in business?
Yes.
For SRF, is there a minimum 2 years?
No, but generally they are looking at you must be at least in 1 year operation.
Okay. So there's really no fixed rule because I'm hearing people saying that, oh, you have to have minimum in business for 2 years. I guess it depends on the bank.
Not necessary, because they are part of their mandatory requirement, not mandatory, their general requirement. When they always ask for 2 years audited accounts. But it doesn't mean that you are not eligible for this. So please reach out to banks, because different commercial banks might have different approach towards this.
And what about track record? Do I have to be showing profit to get these loans?
Answer is no. That's not the requirement.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
Okay. Let's move to the next one. This is automation and digitalization facility. This is mainly to encourage SME to automate their process. This probably came in before the MCO period. Purpose mainly to acquire equipments, machinery, mainly ICT kind of equipments. Financing amount is up to 3 million. However, the interest is higher at 4% per annum. 10 years, 10 years. So no collateral is required as well.
Okay. And this is for CAPEX purposes?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And going back to this one and the one you just mentioned earlier, right?
Yep.
Asking in reality, how will the bank know whether you're using the money for CAPEX or operational?
They normally request for a purchase order or what kind of CAPEX items, whether it falls into automation and digitalization, then only they will approve for this facility.
For this one, so you have to show that show like an invoice or a PO or something.
Yes, correct. The earlier one on SRF, this is only for working capital.
Yeah. And how would they know if it's for working capital or not?
Generally, you must act in good faith. They will check back later.
Yeah, it's purely based on trust and respect, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not instigating anything, guys.
But we do encounter clients who are being requested by the banks to provide a cash flow projection. So within that cash flow projection, you probably would factor in CAPEX, and therefore they would then ask based on that line item.
And I guess because the financing amount is up to 1 million, right?
Yes.
So you I guess depending on how much you get, you have to justify it. Like you can't just say, okay, give me $1 million. Why? Because my face looks good, right?
Correct.
It's you have to justify it, lah. But also the
Correct.
relationship is important, right? So with the relationship with the bankers, the amounts that you get is also, to be very frank, right? It determines the amounts, right?
Yes, correct. This is some point that you've been advocating throughout, right, Raymond? We must always leverage with relationship with our bankers. So we treat them as our working capital, a working partner. So as and when, even if we don't need a facility, a lot of clients do exercise good practice where they activate their trade lines continuously and show to the bank that there's a track record that they can pay. And in times like this, where you really need distress calls and cash pumps in, these banks will automatically offer a higher limit as well. We have clients that straight away receive 1 million approval.
Okay. And a quick question here that we got over the comments, right? Can a Berhad apply for this SRF?
As long as you fall in the definition of SME within the SME Corp, yes, you can.
Okay, so the shareholding, the type of company doesn't really matter, right? It
No.
looks at your revenue and your number of
employees,
employees, right? Okay.
Correct. Under manufacturing or other sectors.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
So the next loan available is the all economic sectors. This is open to SME only. You must be 51% Malaysian shareholding. This is not that popular at this juncture of time because the interest is at 6 to 8%, but it caters to a bigger financing amount of 5 million. Therefore, you have to have a good track record for this. Tenure is 5 years. Purpose, you can use it for capex and working capital. There's no closing date yet. There's 6.8 billion funds utilized. We do not have any official announcement on how much has been utilized so far.
Is this part of the COVID funding, or this has already been around for a while?
No, this came in before the COVID. This was at the first stimulus package.
Okay.
This as well is came in from the first stimulus package. Agro-food facilities is mainly to cater to SMEs for agriculture, agro-food kind of production, whereby they allow a financing of up to 5 million, interest at 3.75%, tenure at 8 years. Mainly, this is just to stimulate the agro-food industry. So if you're in this kind of sector, please consider this as well. 3.75% is quite a good rate.
Okay. An agro-food facility means anyone that is producing, right?
Yes.
So you can't, like, if I'm a reseller, right? I can't apply for this facility, correct?
Yeah, reseller, no. Unfortunately, no.
Yeah. So I must own the farm. I must be producing the vegetables and things like that, right?
Right. You must be in the production line. Nothing related to the distribution side.
Okay.
Just a brief overview of BNM's financing facilities. There you go. If you looked at the cheapest one, it'll be micro enterprise facility. It's no longer 300 million. It's 1.2 billion now. It's up to 75% and it's 0%. So I would suggest if any companies that falls within this definition of micro enterprise, please apply this first because this is getting exhausted up pretty quickly. After this, you can opt for a special relief facility, which is at 3.5. Some you get 3.25%. Then only you move on to the others.
Oh, sorry. I'll stop you there, right? So if I apply for the BNM one, I can still apply for SRF?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I can stack it up if I qualify, lah.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Only thing is SRF, if you apply for different banks, in aggregate, you cannot exceed 1 million. They will know it because CGC grants the final approval.
Yeah. So I can go to 4 banks, each with 250,000 and with a accumulation of 1 million in total. That's fine.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right. But in any case, the 4 different banks will have different procedures, maybe different interest rates, depending on the bank and you, lah.
Yes, right? That's right. Okay. But generally, you will be capped at 3.5% and nothing higher than that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, CGC, Credit Guarantee Corporation, they also provide loans as well. But if you notice, their interest is higher, above 10%. This is for Bismillah, for all SMEs, and they have also a special category for women entrepreneurs. These are catered for companies with less than 4 years operation, financing amount 30,000 to 300,000. Purpose is for capex and working capital. I'll just briefly screen through because CGC loans are generally having quite high of interest. There's another one, CGC Bismaju, also at above 10% per annum. It's catered for SMEs, minimum 1 year operation. BIS SME as well. The only difference between BIS SME and the one earlier, Bismaju, is the tenure will be 1 to 7 years. The earlier one is 1 to 5 years under Bismaju. Right, so what do I need to prepare? Some of the documents that are commonly required by the banks, M&A is definitely one. You either have an M&A, or if you have abolished your M&A, you move on to Constitution, please provide a copy of your Constitution as well. Form 24, 44, 49 is under the Old Companies Act, 1965. Under the new Companies Act 2016, you have to provide Section 78, 46, and 58. Directors IC, Directors Personal Tax Submission, Borang B or BE. Payment receipts for last year. If you can go back to 2 to 3 years, that would be the best. But if you do not have, that's fine, just the last 1 or 2 years. Latest audited accounts for recent 2 years, if possible. Latest management accounts as at 31st March 2020 or 31st December 2019. Which brings the important point, you must get your books up to date and in order. Some banks do require debtors and creditors aging list, but this is not required, a mandatory requirement. Bank statements, you need to provide 6 months. If that's a bank that your company has an account with, normally they do not require. All your other existing banking facilities, a letter of offers that you've obtained, this is a plus point. This will help you in getting approvals faster from the respective banks. Company profile, if any. Cash flow projections, also if any. Only some banks require this when they want to approve a higher limit. For example, SRF up to 1 million. Okay.
And these documents are the same for the SRF and BSN, I guess.
It's pretty standard. For SRF is a little bit more compared to the BSN loan, but you can just check it up on the internet. It's pretty straightforward. And I think BSN loan requirements is lesser than that because it's catered for micro enterprise.
Yeah. And a quick question here is, so obviously based on your brief earlier on all the different loans, I guess BSN is the only loan now with the zero interest.
Yes.
And the zero interest is only for 6 months or throughout the 5.5 years?
It's throughout.
So 0% throughout the 5.5 years and with the 6 months of non-repayment.
Yes.
Okay. And obviously the documents here, based on your question that's being asked, the documents is what you probably need to prepare. And do you need to apply in person, or can you get somebody to do it for you? Or you mentioned agents just now.
Yes, there's a lot of agents that are providing this service. I think market rates, there's a big range that I've noticed. Some charge 2 to 3% out of financed amount. Some charge even 7%. But to be honest, if you can do it, it's pretty straightforward, and the relationship lies with you, with the bankers. It's a good time to develop a relationship as well. But we do provide service on this financing service as well.
Okay. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on the banking facilities letter of offers? There's a question here as in, how do we get existing facilities letter of offers?
Well, that means if in the past you have obtained credit facilities from other banks or letter of offers, please provide a copy to probably a different bank. They will use that as a credit check as well as a background check.
Okay. Even overdrafts and things like that, right?
Yes, that's helpful.
Yeah, okay. Also, a question here from Sam. I heard the approval for BSN Micro is quite hard to approve. Is this true?
From what I heard, yes. It's not instantaneous, and you have to go through an agent. So whether the agent works quickly, that's another case which factors in the approval process.
Okay. And just now, I probably didn't hear you while you're saying that. How much does these agents charge?
No, they are authorized agents by BSN. They have the name list and telephone list in their website. You just need to click on it and ring one which is close to you.
Okay. So it's not an extra service that you have to pay for, lah.
No.
Okay. All right, got it. Okay. Yeah.
These are BSN agents, not external agents.
Okay. All right, got it. You can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Bank Negara has announced during the MCO for the automatic 6 months moratorium on all bank loans starting from April the 1st. So probably a question sometimes people will think, should I opt out from this moratorium since I can afford it? The main key thing about this moratorium, it's not a free money. It's still interest accumulated during that 6 months. So what we would advise you is to assess your financial condition and calculate the additional interest, and also assess whether your loan is actually a flexi loan or semi-loan or fixed loan. If you're flexi loan, probably you can opt to go in for the moratorium and then at least have that flexibility there. So if you want to save on interest, you can probably still continue and top up your payments to reduce the interest. But if you want that flexibility, it's there. So let me just also highlight what are the chances of you to maximize your loan approvals. First, you must get your books in order. You must have your accounts up to date, work with your accountants or your external accountants to get it up in order. A relationship with your bankers is key. If you have not done so in the past, this is a good time to nurture the relationship. Always treat them as a working partner. Activate your credit lines even when not necessary. I mean, moving forward, exercise a good debt or equity financing mix. Debt financing is always cheaper than equity financing. And then don't give surprises to your bankers if you face some issues in your business disruptions or affect your revenues. Please update your bankers. Treat them as a working partner. Which we find in our clients. It helps them a lot, especially during these difficult times.
Yeah, I think through my own personal experience, right? Really, we need to deal with bankers and be really very purely honest, right? I find in my personal experience dealing with bankers is that no banks want to kill you, right? Banks also have to do business themselves, and if we are honest with our bankers, they will actually help to work something out, right? If you can't repay certain loans or whatever, just be honest with them. Banks don't want to go through this whole process of suing you and bring you to court. It costs money and it costs time. Right. So if in my past experience, when I was honest with them, they actually helped me out and they really sat down and says, okay, you know what, I understand what you're going through. Let's try and work something out for you, and if they really appreciate you and appreciate your business, I think that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely correct, Raymond.
Yeah, can you go back one slide, Fong? Sorry.
Sure.
I had one question. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I should have another slide on this. Maybe you wanted me to continue.
Sure.
Okay, I'll just show one of this example that's flagged out in the Age Media on April the 3rd. If you compare, if you didn't opt for the deferment moratorium, as compared to if you opt in for a deferment, we're just taking a simple property loan as example, there'll be additional accrued interest about 9,000 during these 6 months. So to some people, they will think that this 9,000 is a lot of money. Why should I waste 9,000? However, sometimes we have a different view as well. This 9,000, you also have to weigh against your remaining loan tenure. So if, for example, if you still have 30 years to go, would that 9,000 worth that much in 30 years' time? And if you compare, now it's about 4.5% or even lower, some of the SRF loans. If you compare to the normal personal loan interest rate that we used to have, it's about 8-9%. So interest cost is really cheap now. So perhaps you also can consider to go for the deferment and conserve more cash now.
So basically, in a nutshell, based on this clear calculation, this is a very good chart, man, Fong. So based on this, it's really, the answer is yes, take it, right?
I don't want to bear any responsibility for investment decision, but you should factor into inflation and time cost of money as well. 9,000 might not worth that much in 30 years.
Yeah. But that's a 30-year span. Right? If there's a possibility of conserving that cash for the next 6 months, why not, right?
Yeah, especially if you can find other alternatives for investments as well.
Yeah.
But then again, different people has different risk appetites.
Okay. All right, cool.
Okay. So I've completed my slides on the financing options. So I'll just move on to the government stimulus package, the pre-Hatin package. And I've specifically tailored my slides to focus on SMEs only. Okay, then again, this is a refresher. SME for a lot of the pre-Hatin stimulus package is falling back on the SME Corp definition, which is manufacturing sector, sales not exceeding 50 million, employees not exceeding 200, services and other sectors is 20 million sales and below, 75 employees and below. Okay, there's a pre-Hatin special grant of 3,000 which is allocated to micro-enterprise. The definition of micro-enterprise is the same one which I've explained earlier. 300,000 sales lesser or 5 employees or less. So total allocated funds is 2.1 billion. But the thing about this is similar to the pre-Hatin fund as well as Bantuan Saran Hidup earlier. You must be registered with the Inland Revenue Board. That's where they credit in your credits later. As of today, we're still awaiting further guidelines, and the website to check status of this is also not up yet.
That means nobody can apply for this yet, right?
No, this is automatic.
Okay. So automatic means what? As long as you qualify, there's no application. It would just be given to you. Is that correct?
Because Inland Revenue Board has the list of companies that falls within this range, and then it will be automatic. You need not apply.
But what will these micro SMEs get? Will they get a letter, or will they get a notice that you have been approved? You'll be in your bank tomorrow or something like that? Would you know?
There's no guidelines yet, so I cannot report anything unofficial. But my best guess is there will be an email notification to the official email registered with IRB as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And next is a special tax deduction for landlords on rental discounts to SME tenants. So the tenants must be SME only, and your rental discounts have to be more than 30% to enjoy additional double deduction on your discounts given to your tenants. So as of today, there's no guidelines yet on how to officially treat that tax deduction, but it will be soon. So our action points is
when? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, not yet, but it should be soon.
So sorry, what does this mean? That means that if I own a property and I have a tenant, and if I do a rental discount of more than 30%, I, as the landlord, will get some form of tax deduction from IRB.
Yes, you will get an additional discount of the excess of 30% discount that you give to your tenant. Just for plain illustration, if your total rental income is 10,000, if you give a 30% discount to your tenant, which means you get a 7,000 net income, then you get to enjoy another 3,000 extra. So your net taxable income will be down to 4,000.
Okay. So just there's a quick question here. Is it 30% per annum, or 30% on the monthly basis too?
It's the same. In total, you will come back to be 30%.
All right. Yeah. So it's back. The answer to the question is 30% regardless lah. But it's 30% that more than 30% discount that you have to give to your tenant.
Yes. Whether the range is it 30 until this end of this 6 months within this MCO, or other than that, is it 1 year? That one we need to wait for the official guidelines.
Okay, all right.
So please initiate discussion with your landlords. Let them be aware of this and let them know that you are SME, because sometimes they are not sure and they will not take the initiative.
Okay.
Next is foreign workers levies has been reduced by 25%. This only allows for foreign workers which work permits expires between 1st April to 31st December. This excludes your housemates, your domestic workers.
Oh, okay. Except domestic workers, huh? So
Yes.
these are like foreign workers in like security guarding companies, construction sites.
Correct. It's not much. It's only 25% reduction on the levy for this period of permits
The
expiring.
6 months now. Okay.
Correct. So there's also special discounts to SME retailers renting from government-linked companies. Government-linked companies like Mara, Petronas, PNB, Plus, UDA. You probably have already received notice on discounts or even rental exemptions. This is from the earlier stimulus package. Companies are provided with accelerated capital allowance for machinery and equipments, including ICT, information communication technology equipments, at an initial allowance of 20% and 40%. So this is additional higher allowance as compared to the normal provided allowance. So this is only for capital expenditure between 1st March to 31st December. Anything before that, you are not allowed to this additional capital allowance. Okay. So just to put a note, unfortunately, you have to incur your cost first to enjoy your tax savings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so this is after the fact,
correct. After the computation of your tax.
Okay, very quick question here from Charles. What type of machinery or equipment will this qualify for?
What type of machinery or equipment?
Yeah.
As long as it's machinery equipment, you'll be listed on the official guidelines as well. Mainly IT equipments, computers, and all that will be allowed for.
So even laptops, purchasing of laptops and things like that.
Yes, that's included.
Okay, interesting. Any business, any sector, right? You mentioned this eligibility here.
This is not just for SME, all businesses as well.
Okay. So once costs have been incurred, you just file it under, again, we don't know how this process is going to be like.
File it under tax your tax agents will be well versed with this. Just let them aware. They probably is already updated on this as well.
How about test equipments?
Test equipments, probably
like
yes.
For manufacturing, yes lah.
Probably yes.
Probably considered under ICT lah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably under equipment. Okay, there's also additional tax deduction on renovation and refurbishment. These are not capital allowance claims, so you get to enjoy 300,000 of tax deduction on renovation and refurbishment incurred between 1st March to 31st December. This is mainly the government's initiative to spur up the construction sector as well. So eligibility is for all businesses, not just SME.
And how is this how is this applied for? So as long as anything before March obviously can't.
Yeah, there are common questions which says my renovation started in 1st Jan. So how am I gonna do the deduction? Unfortunately, if we read clearly based on the FAQ, it's only 1st March 2020. So you have to apportion the billings, or really based on the date of billings.
Okay, so date of billing. So if I start my renovation in January, but my contractor bills me on the 20th of March, will I still qualify?
Technically, it should be based on the work incurred and also the corresponding billings. If it's a purposefully delayed billing, then it's not in good faith.
Yeah. Okay. And what do I have to prove for this? Other than
Billings.
just the billings, lah.
Yes.
Okay. Damn, I renovated in January.
Okay,
Okay.
next we have tax deduction on equipment to employees. So these are like your face masks, your sanitizers. If it's disposable, you will be given a tax deduction. If it's non-disposable, it's plant and equipment in nature. I think you have those air purifiers or sanitizers. Those will be given capital allowance. But our view is, as long as the company is providing occupational safety and health kind of related support or expenses, it should qualify as a deduction of capital allowance already. So it's nothing too new about this.
And what is the application for this? How do we apply?
Just in your tax com.
Okay. So there'll be a new area that we can fill this in, I guess.
Just in your normal tax computation, you don't need to add back your non-deductible expenses.
Sure.
There will also be 100% stamp duty exemption on loan restructuring and rescheduling. So any restructuring efforts, you go with your banks to negotiate terms or change the schedule for a period between 1st March to 31st December, you get 100% stamp duty exemption. But a lot of people has asked, does that mean SRF has no stamp duty? And answer is no. SRF is a new loan application. You still have to pay 0.5% of the financing amount.
Okay.
Exemption of HRDF payments for certain employees in certain relevant industry, you get to save for a total of 6 months on your 0.5% or 1% of wages between April to September. Okay, now I'm going to move on to wage subsidy program. I think this is the program that garners a lot of interest and a lot of questions as well.
Yeah, sorry. Can I just go back to one? I'll ask this question now. And guys, I'm looking at your questions, so I'll ask them when the time comes. But this is something which is related. So, question is, how many percent tax deductions does all this get? Would you know?
Which one?
All the different tax deductions that you mentioned. Is it common? Do you have the different percentage of tax deductions or amounts?
All of it is different. Let's say like rental, you get to get the total amount of discount that you provided. You get that as a deduction. So for ICT, the ACA, you get a 20 and 40%. So it varies between. So you probably need to check with your tax agent and also check with the guidelines issued by IRB.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay, for wage subsidy program, it's only for 3 months. I think there's a lot of confusion earlier whether you need to justify your revenues drop and all that. But now the latest guidelines has been issued. It's only catered for employees with wages below 4,000. You are segregated to 3 categories. Only these 3 categories. You need not care about whether it's SME or not SME. So if it's below 75 employees, you get 1,002 subsidy per employee per month. For people with wages below 4,000, 76 to 200 employees, you get 800 per employee. 200 and above, you get 600 per employee. Okay, so only for wages below 4,000. It's pretty simple, and conditions have been relaxed now.
So no having to prove our March revenue compared to our January revenue compared to our February. None of that anymore.
None of that, only for those below 75 employees. I'll move on to the next slide first. Yeah, just here.
Yeah.
There are 3 categories. 75 employees or fewer, which most of the SME will fall here. You have no condition to show whether there's a decline in revenue or income. Whereas 76 and above, you have to show 50% or more decline. So they have recently added a sentence here. Do you compare to January 2020 or the subsequent months? Therefore, if you can actually take March to compare to February as well now. Previously, it was March compared to January, but sometimes companies have a pretty good month in January due to Chinese New Year. Now probably they take it and compare March and February.
And I guess we are approaching the end of April now. Can we take April then?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's also a common FAQ of how to define wages. They say wages below 4,000. So they actually pick this definition straight out of this Akta System Insurance Pekerjaan. It will be also the wages that you use to compute your SOCSO. Therefore, that's why it's been disbursed from SOCSO. It includes all remuneration for leave, holidays, overtime, and your normal salaries. However, it excludes your EPF, SOCSO, EIS contribution. Your traveling allowance is excluded. Gratuity, annual bonus, or any other special expenses are excluded from the definition of wages.
Okay. So meaning that if a person is earning, or rather his contract states that is he earns 4,000, right? So the employer contribution of 12%, right, is not included in this calculation. What about the employee's deduction of 7 or 11%? Is that
that will be already factored into his wages of 4,000.
Okay, right. So if it doesn't, so no traveling allowance, nothing else. So it's just straight basic pay lah.
Yes, but bear in mind OT is included lah, because some of the factories and all that, they have a common OT.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay, who are not eligible for the wage subsidy program? Just to re-emphasize, who are not eligible? Companies that registers and operate after January 1st, 2020. A lot of people are not aware of this. So employers and employees who are not registered and have not contributed to SOCSO. So contract workers, unfortunately, you can't. And employees who are financially supported by ERP, whereas you have asked them to go on unpaid leave. So employees with monthly salary of over 4,000, you're not eligible. Employees who have been dismissed, not eligible. Public sectors staff, not eligible. And foreign workers and expatriates are specifically excluded. So only local workers.
Okay, a common question that I get asked, right, Fong, what about EIS, right, the Employee Insurance Scheme under Perkeso? Is that a requirement? So go ahead, sorry.
You meant on this part, is it, whether they have contributed to SOCSO EIS?
Yeah, so SOCSO, okay, please correct me if I'm wrong, right? So SOCSO is one contribution. There's another one, which is EIS, which is the Employee Insurance Scheme. Is that a mandatory requirement to qualify for wage subsidy? Would you know?
Strictly, if you follow the words, it's only SOCSO, but that's not the intention. Like, it should be paid as well for EIS. To be in good faith.
Okay.
So I'll move on to.
Before you go on to this, I'm going to ask a very straightforward, realistic question. All right.
Sure.
So this program actually came out in March, right? Or rather, the second one came out in April. Now, let's say, for example, my company has certain employees which is above 4,000. In the month of April, I do a salary cut or a salary deferment. So my paid out salary, it goes under 4,000. Right? Am I now able to apply for that the subsidy program now, since I've already cut their salary to under 4,000?
Answer is no lah, because that's a way of bending the rules. Because the intention of the entire wage subsidy program is you do not cut their pay. So if you were to cut and let them go down below 4,000 to enjoy the subsidy, it will not be accepted by Perkeso.
Okay. And question here coming from Peter is, does interns count in the wage subsidy program?
Interns, no. As far as I know, they're not.
Okay. All right. I guess
Because
if you
interns, you don't contribute to SOCSO, right?
yeah, so that's the underlying thing lah. You have to be contributing to SOCSO lah. So as long as you
Yes.
contribute to SOCSO, they're a full-time employee. Even if they're interns, then I guess it's a full-time employee lah.
Correct.
Okay.
So the deadline is 15 September 2020. So if you decide not to apply now, you want to adopt a wait and see approach, you can. Come to September, you can still apply, and then you get to enjoy 3 months, September, October, November. But I just want to caution, because this is also based on funds utilization. And as far as I know, companies are all applying, and a lot of them has received funds already. So my general suggestion is to apply earlier.
Okay.
The next is Employee Retention Program. This is for employees, subsidizing them with 600 for 3 months as a financial aid to them. This is for employees also similarly below 4,000. The way this mechanics works is company will apply to SOCSO, and then SOCSO will disburse the money to the company, and the company within 7 days must disburse 600 to subsidize the employee because they are going on unpaid leave. So it's eligible for employees who take unpaid leave for 30 days or more.
And this is the employee is the one that must apply, right?
No, actually it's the company will apply. But the employee
must apply.
Yes, but the employee will get subsidized.
Okay.
The money goes from SOCSO to the company, and the company disburses it to the employee.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
Take note that there's no restriction on number of employees. There's no 75, 76 to 200. There's no restriction on numbers of employees for this.
Okay. Is there any way that both these programs can be applied for?
You can actually, but with different people. For example, if you go on wage subsidy for one person, you're technically required to keep them in employment and do not cut their pay for 6 months. In that essence, you cannot then opt for ERP after the first 3 months of WSP. But you can also apply WSP for certain employees, but ERP for certain employees, especially those that you probably would want to let go during this period.
Okay. So a couple of questions is coming out on this topic, yeah.
Okay.
So one question here is, can we retrench workers and put them under the EIS scheme for 6 months versus the ERP?
EIS, which EIS?
Which EIS?
WSP, you mean?
Yeah, let's take for example the WSP lah.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously in the WSP you can't retrench lah, right? Because you've already applied, you can't lay them off for 6 months, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I guess it doesn't apply here lah, because you can't retrench anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question here is that for foreign workers which contribute to SOCSO, can the WSP be applied?
No, unfortunately, the guidelines state clearly foreign workers are not eligible for this.
Okay. And another question is, if the employee just joined us in March, is that employee entitled to ERP? We do pay SOCSO.
ERP, right? You're mentioning?
Yeah, ERP.
Yes. She'll be eligible.
Okay. All right. Let's see if there's anything else here. Yep, that's it for now.
Okay. So, sorry, I think there's an error in here. This should be wage subsidy program. My apologies. Documents required, it will be your Borang 9, Borang 13 of your company. This shows the incorporation name as well as any name change. There is a form which you need to declare under PSU 50 on the website. You can easily download it and sign off with the company CHOP. Borang Senayan Pekerja, these are the list of employees that you want to undergo for wage subsidy program. And there's this form called Business Registration Form, BRN. There's a specific template which is in PDF form you can convert it to Word. Then there's a column in the middle where you just indicate the company number. Let's say your company is 02773A. You have to indicate this 02773A within that column.
That's
If
the
you're
one that everybody's
unsure-
asking, what is my CO ID, right?
Yes, micro ID. So
Yeah.
it's pretty simple. A lot of banks will help you. What I suggest you do, get that form, convert it to a Word document, insert your company number in the middle, and then go to a bank and just say whether it's correct or not. They will advise you accordingly. Okay, part of the the announcement is also on revision on income tax estimates in the third month. This is allowed for all businesses, not just SMEs. In normal circumstances, you are allowed to revise your income tax estimates on existing 6th and 9th month, but now you have an additional third month. So for a lot of December year ends, your filing was originally due in 15 April, but now has been all extended to 31st May 2020. So please take this opportunity to reduce your tax estimates because this will greatly reduce your cash outflow and conserve more cash. And there's also deferment of income tax monthly installments, separated into two categories. Tourism industry, regardless you're SME or not, you get an automatic deferment for 6 months beginning April. For SMEs, it's an automatic deferment of 3 months. So you need not pay income tax installments during this period.
And that's only for the tourism industry, yeah?
Tourism industry, you get 6 months. SMEs, you get 3 months deferment.
So
but if you want to But if you want to revise third month estimates, all businesses are allowed to do that, not just SME.
And is hospitality included in the tourism industry?
Hotels in specific.
Yeah. Okay.
Hospitality like F&B and all that, those are not, unless it's in hotels.
Okay.
Okay. So our advice is please liaise with your tax agent to make the revision for, especially for the third month, which is in 31st May for December year ends. Okay, I'll just do a quick illustration for company with December year ends. You used to pay 1,000 every month for 12 months. For non-SMEs, you don't get to defer your installment plan. This is what I mentioned earlier. Non-SME cannot defer during this period, but they get to revise their tax estimate. SME, you get to defer automatically during this 3 month, April to June. But for tourism, April all the way to September, you get to defer 6 months. So you will notice there's 9,000 paid during the year as compared to your total estimate of 12,000. So how about the balance of 3,000? You only pay that when you submit your final tax com and your final tax computation. So there will not be any penalties on that. So for revision of tax estimate, if, for example, your company, if you encounter significant downturn, you find that, oh, you're not doing well, you estimate a loss, please take this opportunity during the third month revision, which is due 31st May with the extension, revise it to nil, and then you can conserve a lot of cash. Conserve a lot of cash, 2,000 total paid if you were to revise to nil as compared to 9,000 if you do nothing. Okay, so for example, if you go to the 9th month and you realize, oh, your business picked up, you want to revise back up your estimate so that you don't run foul of the 30% underestimation. At the 9th month, then you take an opportunity to raise it back up to 12,000 again. So just be wary of this timelines.
Okay.
If I've compiled some of the common FAQs that people have been asking, probably some of your questions will be addressed here as well. A lot of it regarding to wage subsidy program. The first is, Can the company first order employee to go on unpaid leave and subsequently claim wage subsidy? I think Raymond asked this earlier. Answer is no, you cannot do that. You have to honor it to keep them in employment for 6 months and not cut any wages. Is the wage subsidy received by company a taxable income? No, it's not a taxable income, and correspondingly, your wages that you pay them as an expense will also not be a deductible expense. If we apply for wage subsidy, can we still cut salary for those above 4,000? Answer is yes. You can selectively choose which employees that you would like to go for wage subsidy and which employees that you probably will need to see a salary cut. But bear in mind, this needs to get the consent of the employees as well. So number 4, can sole proprietor partnership apply for wage subsidy? A lot of focuses is on SME. So a lot of people are unsure whether sole prop partnership LLP can apply. Answer is yes, they can apply, and it's in the FAQ as well. So a lot of misconception on definition of SME. There's 3 main categories people always ask. Deferment of monthly installments, your tax installments, what kind of definition it follows. Rental deduction, what kind of definition follow. Wage subsidy program, or what definition follows. Number 1 on tax installment, it actually falls back on FAQ release, which is share capital at the beginning of your basis period does not exceed 2.5 million. And your gross income cannot be more than 50 million. This follows the income tax FAQ. Specifically for rental deduction for SMEs, this will fall back to SME Corp's definition, the one that I mentioned twice earlier. Is for manufacturing and services sector, where the based on revenues as well as the employees. As for wage subsidy, please bear in mind, it does not matter whether it's SME or not SME. Just now I mentioned the new relaxed rules is based on number of employees only, below 75, 75, 200, 200 and above. Okay. Some questions is, how should I treat the wage subsidy in my accounts? A lot of people come in the perspective on what will happen if SOCSO come and check later. Should I net off in salary expense or should I show it in other income? I think accounting standards require 2 options because it's treated as a sort of like a grant income. You can do it either net off or other income as and when you receive it. But a good practice is also to separate it to at least show the corresponding effects of both rather than net off. For companies with 75 employees, must we only compare 50% drop to January sales only? Just now I mentioned that under the new FAQs, they mentioned an additional sentence, January and other subsequent months. So answer is no, you can also compare to February as well. That means March to February, April to March, or April to February.
Okay.
Number 8, after claiming wage subsidy for 3 months, can the company apply for ERP in the 4th month? I think Raymond asked this as well. Answer is yes, provided on different employees. Okay. Number 9, can foreign-owned companies apply for wage subsidy for its employees? Doesn't matter. As long as they fall within that 3 categories, they can claim it. For 3,000 grant to micro SME, when can the funds be dispersed? How to check status? Again, there's no official guidelines issued yet, and the website is not up to check status. But from our understanding, it would be same like Bantuan Saran Hidup and Bantuan Prihatin, where you can check online. And if there's some issue you want to appeal, you can also fill up a manual form. This one we need to wait for official guidelines. Okay, does SRF loans have stamp duty exemptions? No, just like I explained, it's still up to 0.5% of finance amount. Some clients have also submitted 3 months revision, but no reply from IRB. Should I pay according to revision without the reply from IRB? Our suggestion is you continue to write in to follow up. Please do not pay straight without a reply. You still have time for December year ends until 31st May, so keep on chasing. And 13, can the revision of tax estimate of the next year of assessment be lower than 85% of this current year of assessment? So general rule, we cannot estimate our tax for the next year lower than 85%, but under different circumstances, let's say liquidation, or you're under a business downturn or business critical distress, you can actually write into IRB. So let's say for MCO, if your company is severely affected, please liaise with your tax agent to write in, to appeal, to get it lower than 85%. So some people ask, oh, the tax incentive of rental, is it covering also rental of parking space? Some buildings, they have parking space, some have reduction in service charges. So quick answer is official guidelines is not out yet, so we cannot comment, but this is one of the valid questions that have been asked. So yeah, we need to await further guidelines. If tenant is an individual and they rent it for their own business use, can the landlord qualify for tax deduction by giving more than 30% discount? Bear in mind, just now the incentive is given for SME as tenants. So if the tenant is individual, we are actually unsure now whether they qualify for the landlord, whether they qualify for additional tax deduction. But please wait for the official guidelines. Chances are it might not be because it catered for SME, but we'll see.
Any indication of when these guidelines will be announced?
IRB should be pretty soon, maybe this week or next week should be out soon.
Okay.
Okay, I'll move on to my third section and the last section, this extension of filing deadlines for companies.
So hold on for a minute before we do this. We actually just to let everybody know, we actually told you guys that this webinar will be until 11, but we've extended our time. I think this is all pretty good info, right? So if you don't mind, guys, we'll carry on for a little while more, right? Even up to possibly even 11:20 and so on. There's a couple of questions here before you go on to the deadlines, right, Fong?
Sure.
So question one here is that for the wage subsidy program, are we allowed to defer some portion of the staff salary, not deduction here, not pay cuts, but still apply for the wage subsidy program?
Answer is no, because you cannot defer and claim for the wage subsidy program. Essentially, is pretty much the same.
Yeah, because you have to reflect it on the actual, right? And actual is
you have to pay them. Yeah, you have to pay them.
Right. Question from Christopher here is, what if an employee joins us after 18th March? I know you mentioned January as one of your requirements, right? Can I put him under WSP? So after the MCO. So he joined after MCO was announced.
This, I cannot confirm, but I probably need to check on this one. It's better I check before I get the official answer to you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Next question is, you mentioned about the accelerated capital allowances, the ACA, for ICT equipment. Does it also cover software licenses or product warranty renewals?
No, it's mainly for equipment.
So hardware, pure hardware.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Question, can we cut salary for those that are below 4,000? I guess answer is yes if you don't take the free subsidy, right?
Correct.
Okay. Right. And a couple of questions that came up earlier, just so that ask you at this point in time, since you've talked about it. When we talked about the moratorium earlier, right? Does the banks compound the interest during the 6 months?
Compound the interest?
Yeah.
Answer is yes. Yeah, the interest will be accrued during that 6 months, but it's not compounded. It's accrued during that 6 months. It's
just accrued. Then that may result in a longer tenure, or an increase monthly repayment, I guess.
No, actually increase your tenure.
Okay, so it's pure just increased tenure, no increase in monthly repayments.
Yes, which is why you see in a similar pattern for the loans as well. You get a 5.5 years.
And so the question here is, would you know if that the application for the loans, that the company must change its authorized capital to 100,000?
First of all, there's no more concept of authorized share capital, but no, not that I'm aware of, that there shouldn't be any restrictions on share capital.
Okay, right. And question here is, okay, so this is a very specific question, right? My distributor now requires bank guarantee for amounts which is above our credit limit. Which institution offers higher than one-to-one facilities? And are there any options available to gear up my FD as collateral?
Would you mind repeat it again?
Sure. My distributor requires a bank guarantee for amounts which is above our credit limit. Do you know of any institution that offers higher than one-to-one facilities? I don't understand the question, but I'm hoping that you would.
If I understand correctly, you're trying to understand whether is there any institution that can provide financing more than your current credit limit, is it?
Yeah.
Short answer is really depends on the bank. I cannot answer for them. You probably need to, we can take it offline to see any other agents that can help you with this.
Okay. Final question before you proceed for the last session. Does attendance or performance allowance form as part of the basic salary? I guess you mentioned allowances is not, right?
Attendance and performance allowance.
Yeah. Means
if it's a monthly thing, I would think yes, because it would be subject to SOXO. A good check and balance is you check back whether did you contribute SOXO on that. But my rough gauge, yes, if it's a monthly fixed allowance.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Thanks, Li-Feng.
Okay. So move on to extension of deadlines. During this MCO, a lot of deadlines which fall within this period, the regulatory bodies have provided automatic extension. PCB for LHDNs, originally you are required to file on 15 April. You get the extension to 31st May 2020. EPF contribution, SOXO, EIS, you get 2 days after MCO lifting to file and pay. So please take note on this, just a 2 days window. HRDF, I mentioned earlier, you get exemption for 6 months. For SSM filing deadline, so SSM, you have a moratorium of 30 days after end of MCO, which means if, fingers crossed, 28th April, it gets lifted, you count 30 days from there, you get to file any documents which are due within MCO. For example, your annual returns, your financial statements, your updating of records, your directors registers, anything which falls within MCO deadline, you get additional 30 days from lifting of MCO to get it quickly lodged. SSM has also provided extension of 3 months for circulation and lodgement of financial statements for financial year ended September to December only. So anything before that, you don't get this additional filing because it will fall within MCO period, and then you get the additional 30 days extension. So bear in mind, this extension is required to be applied to SSM via email. So please get your company secretary to file and update you on status. Okay, the last one is on Royal Customs, submission, sales tax, service tax, tourism tax. For the statutory deadline of 31st March for 29th February period, the extension is until 13 May. It's pretty simple. The upcoming submission deadline will be 13 May.
Okay.
Including payments.
Including payments, huh? Okay.
Yep.
So anything SST and everything.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So thank you for time. I've completed my presentation. So if you have any questions, please feel free.
Yeah. Okay, thanks so much, Li-Feng. Let's see if there's any more questions, a couple of minutes more before we end the session here. I do have, let me check whether I have any more questions here. Okay. Yeah, I guess my questions are okay. Question here is this. I got a question here. Okay, I am financially quite stable for the next 3 to 6 months, right? And but the loan percentage of 3.5%, it is super irresistible. I don't need the loan, but can I apply it anyway?
Answer is yes. There's a saying, don't let a good crisis go to waste. So a lot of people have been using this period as an opportunity to get cheap money. It might be a good opportunity for you to expand your business and explore expansion as well. You can. Yeah. Short answer is yes, you can.
Yeah. And I guess it goes back down to what you said, right? If you have a good banker, you have a good relationship with your banker, right? And you can prove your finances, you can have all the documentations. There's really no reason why you can't.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
Okay, good. Any final questions, guys? Last call at the bar. Well, not this bar. Let's see whether we have any more questions. Sorry, if I missed any one of your questions, could you just retype it in again? Right. So yeah, just retype it again so that I don't miss it. Sorry, because there's a couple of questions that is going through. Right. We'll have a couple more minutes. Don't worry. We want to make sure that we answer all your questions. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So there was a clarification here. Remember the question that I had earlier about the what was that again? The distributor one, which requires bank guarantee for amounts above a credit limit. The clarification here is that the one-to-one means one loan amount against one loan collateralized against one ringgit of overdraft.
A loan collateralized against the overdraft.
Yeah. Anyway, Colin, if you have any more ways to explain that, please do, and then we'll help you on that. Okay.
Does it mean you have multiple charges on collaterals?
Okay. Right. So come back with the question. Yeah. Okay. So going back to the BSN loan question here, understand that we are to put in 3 months of security deposit based on the first 3 months of repayment first as part of the loan requirement. Is this correct?
No, not that I'm aware of.
No,
No.
So it means that there's no such thing as a 3-month security deposit.
No.
Okay. So again, like what you mentioned earlier, go back to the BSN agents and clarify this or the application process.
Yeah, make sure it's a proper agent.
Make sure it's a proper agent. And the proper agents are those that's listed on the BSN website, yeah?
Yes. If in doubt, please call the BSN line as well.
Okay. Question here, probably this is our final question. If the FD is 100,000, what is the best gearing available to get a bank guarantee? If I have an FD of 100,000.
Bank guarantee, oh, now I understand. Bank guarantee, normally they go on one-to-one basis. They normally don't give leverage additional guarantees. So in that sense, I think your frustration is your FD, you only get one-to-one facility. Whether you can have higher than that. As far as I know, no, your bank guarantee will only fall back on the amount collateralized.
Okay. All right. Okay, I guess that's all the questions that we have today. Li Fong, I really appreciate your help and talking to us today. Right? We've known each other for quite a while. Right? Congratulations on your business as well.
Thank you. Right? Pleasure, Raymond.
No problem. So if any one of you guys, so Li Fong and Fu Li, An and Associates, they specialize in audit and tax. right? If you ever need to get in touch with them for more questions, let us know. I will hook you up with them. As part of our community as well, just to share with you guys, as part of our community, we actually have two very good guys that is with us as well. My Consult actually provides a virtual CFO service, and they can help you be the CFO, which most SMEs don't really have the luxury of. And also another company called NextGen, and they provide some accounting services and very specialized in providing a digital tool called Xero, right? So Xero accounting, and outsourcing through Xero, and then they do it as well. So any one of these three persons, please reach out to us, and we will definitely hook you up to them for any more information. Thanks again, Li Fong. All the best to you.
Pleasure. Take care.
Right.
Take care, everyone.
We'll go out for drinks after this MCO lah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now stay at home
you.
lah. On me, yeah, man.
Okay. Take
Okay,
care.
bro. Take care. Yeah?
Take care,
Thanks,
bye.
guys, for joining in. I hope this session was good for you guys. Join us for the next Leading in Crisis. We will bring in more experts and more expertise for you guys to get through this all together. Remember, guys, we're all in this together. Okay. Have a good day ahead. Bye.